People online are turning against New York City, the greatest place on God's green earth, a title that predates the earth itself. Many of these people aren't native New Yorkers. They're nobodies who came from bumblefuck middle of nowhere who couldn't make it in the big city.
Give me rent.
And instead of having the grace to leave quietly, they've decided to publicize their failures and drag my city's name through the mud, and I'm fed up. Wah, it's so expensive. Wah, and dirty. Wah, and dangerous. Shut up. You think you had it bad? I've been in these trenches my entire life. But instead of the dystopian garbage dump that the internet would have you believe, New York City has never been better. The same way that most Americans view our country as being better than the rest of the world, that's how New Yorkers view the rest of the US. So mathematically, that makes New York City the greatest country on earth. Dead ass. Just take a look at Wikipedia. Cultural capital of the world. Dance capital of the world. Top fashion capital of the world. Most resilient city on earth. Entertainment and digital media capital of the world. Gay capital of the world. The largest global center for trading and published scientific articles. There are big, important things happening in this city, and I'm not directly involved in any of it, but my proximity to it makes me more important than you bums living in Arkansas. Duck capital of the world. Ha! Good one! Sure, this place has its problems, but the rest of the world is much, much worse. And as someone who spent their entire life in the city, lived in different parts of the city, currently works for the city, and has been physically and psychologically broken by this city, hopefully I'm in a good position to dispel these lies. Because I love this city, and I will kill anyone who tries to take my precious from me.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
First thing people will complain about is how dirty this city is. And sure, yeah, broadly speaking, the city is a giant dump. However, that's part of its charm. Why would you want to walk down a perfectly clean sidewalk when you can walk on one covered in dog shit? Why would you want to leave your home and see some pristine mountainous view when you could instead be greeted by mountains of garbage? One offers you nothing while the other offers possibilities.
We just came up on some claims, baby.
When people say New York City is a city of endless possibilities, this is what they're talking about. And luckily, there's garbage everywhere. There's trash in the street and trash in the trees. Trash on your seat and trash in the breeze. On garbage day, you'll have trash up to your knees. Don't stand too close or you'll get covered in fleas. Unfortunately, the city's sanitation department works quite well, so they steal that loot pretty fast. But thankfully, the city is still covered in shit. Literal shit. There is so much dog duty on our streets that public officials have just proposed a bill that aims to cut down on the issue after a recent study showed fecal bacteria rampant on the city's sidewalks. And this was done in the city's most affluent neighborhood. There are some sidewalks in the South Bronx so covered in dog shit that you have to tiptoe across it like you're walking on a minefield. And this is a good thing. It keeps me on my toes. It keeps me athletic. I can move.
You got me moving.
So this bill is crossing the line. What are they gonna say next? That I can't shit on the sidewalk? I'll fucking lose it. Honestly, I don't really understand. If you really want a pet, instead of shelling out thousands of dollars for these poop-producing monstrosities, you could not spend a dime and instead have yourself a rat.
Rats, they're just about everywhere you turn.
See? Free rats! They're everywhere!
Rats inside her walls 24/7.
Those don't even sound like rats. You got the Nazgul in your walls?
What has it got in its pockets?
The rat's beyond disgusting, and why it's tolerated beyond comprehension.
All I comprehend is opportunity. You can sell those rats for $25 a piece at least. That's $100 that just walked into your apartment. I got that money mentality, because I'm a New Yorker. That's how you know those motherfuckers are from Jersey.
There are 5 of them in this kitchen.
Have you seen Ratatouille? You keep those rats in the kitchen and let them cook.
This is not Ratatouille. Rats are not our friends.
Whoa, whoa!
We're recruiting an entirely new generation to fight the rats.
New York is not just a city, it's a war zone. And the war is against the rats. And these scumbags are gonna leave during the middle of a war? Firing squad.
Sometimes they attack children.
He got bit in his stomach.
Oh, hell no! We gon' get those rats! We gon' get them! The homeless are being eaten alive by rats! We're even enlisting tourists in the fight against the rats. Come to New York City and fight the rat menace! Look, if you can't coexist with the local wildlife, then maybe you don't deserve to be in New York City, the pest capital of the world.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Crime in New York City has also been completely blown out of proportion. Sure, I've had people randomly assault me, attempt to rob me, successfully rob me, call me racial slurs, burglarize my home, but who hasn't? If you've never been robbed in New York City, that's because you're a broke-ass bum who ain't got shit worth stealing. Would you rather get robbed at gunpoint in the middle of nowhere or in the greatest city on earth? What are you gonna do when you're broke in Wyoming? Become a hunter-gatherer? In New York, we got $1 pizza. Whether it's the army of rats taking over your home and biting your children, teenage migrant gangs robbing you at gunpoint, or schizophrenic lunatics pushing you in front of the subway, in here, nobody is safe. Even the police might kill you. You ain't got no idea what's going on. You gotta stay on your toes.
I'm scared.
I ain't never done any type of fighting or training, but I can easily take a Navy SEAL, cause I'm a New Yorker. It's survival of the fittest out here. Natural selection. And you've been selected to empty those pockets.
I'm homeless.
Homelessness. Who cares? Which is also the city's official position. Many people have criticized the government's response to the homelessness crisis, whether they're talking about cuts in social spending, a lack of affordable housing, or even the current mayor's remarks that the homelessness are like a cancer that needs to be destroyed. I prefer to look at it like this. God has placed certain people on the street to remind me that I need to hustle. They remind me that I need to grind.
Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
That's why I spend 15 minutes every morning staring at them menacingly. For inspiration. So in this sense, homelessness is actually a good thing. But people have been fed this narrative that there are thousands of mentally ill, barely clothed, violent drug addicts wandering our streets just waiting to put their dirty hands on you and your family. Which ignores the fact that they also use knives and pipes. People like to bitch and moan, how am I supposed to raise a child in this place? As if there's something wrong with your 5-year-old child seeing a completely nude man eject foam from his mouth as he ODs on the subway. Sure, he might be psychologically scarred for the rest of his life, but at least you can guarantee that he's not gonna touch drugs. Or not, who knows? And recently, homelessness has spiked due to the hundreds of thousands of migrants who have just recently entered the city. Some people say there's too many migrants. I say there's not enough. I love them. I envy them. These lucky bastards enter this country with nothing and get put in 5-star hotels and are given hundreds of dollars a week in prepaid debit cards, all on the taxpayer's dime. That's the American dream right there. I'm not going to rest until every native New Yorker has been replaced by a foreign migrant, including myself. This is where I live. Migrants, come on by. The only people who have an issue with our public funds being used this ways are idiots who haven't figured out tax fraud. I haven't paid taxes in years. Grow up. Many complaints about the New York City subway system are based in the misconception that its purpose is to get you to your destination quickly and comfortably, when in actuality, the system is designed to maximize the suffering of its passengers. To make us tough! You're not gonna get more resilient by reading books like a nerd. You're not gonna get it by meditating in the woods like some weirdo. You gotta ride the subway. I've been regularly riding the subway my entire life. I was born on the subway, and nothing makes my blood boil than this place. I lose my fucking mind. My favorite moment of every day is when I leave my house in the morning, I open up the MTA app and see that half of the subway system is completely fucked. We've got signal problems, mechanical problems, fire on the tracks, debris on the tracks, people on the tracks, everything except the trains are on the tracks. Sometimes they don't even have an excuse. Sorry guys, we're trying. Everything that we've previously identified that makes this city great, like the homeless, the rats, the garbage, and the crime, all get concentrated in the city subway system, so that every commute feels designed to speedrun you to a psychotic break. Do you know what it's like to be trapped underground in a crowded train with no seat that hasn't moved in 20 minutes? You have no reception. The train speakers are broken, so they just keep repeating these inaudible demonic messages. It's the middle of July. The AC is broken. There's a homeless man that smells like he's been decomposing in the corner next to you, like you're in the deepest layer of hell. That's when you realize who you truly are. Every day, countless New Yorkers will reach their boiling points on the subway and ascend to a new level of consciousness. A few months ago, I saw a seemingly normal woman stand up, start screaming with no provocation. She then proceeded to pull her pants down and piss all over the floor. Where some see a mental health crisis, I see a spiritual awakening. And everyone's breaking point looks different. Some people will wheel in industrial strength speakers and turn the train into a nightclub. Others will turn it into a circus. Some daring souls will get frisky on the train. And the most daring get frisky on top of the train. That's right, this is a real image of two men playing hide the salami on top of the subway. These guys are taking gay liberation to new levels. Maybe they're a bit too liberated. So when you consider the fact that the subway system is actually here to challenge you and make you grow as a human being, you start to love the subway. Because remember, nobody is having a good time there. All right, maybe except for these guys.
Hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking here.
And to the people that say that New Yorkers are mean or rude, I say, go fuck yourself. We're the nicest people on earth.
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
The nicest people capital of the world. Anyone who says otherwise is a soft sack of shit.
Wimp.
I'm a wonderful human being as long as you stay the fuck out of my way. I don't care if you're old, overweight, disabled, or a child. If you can't move at what I deem an appropriate speed, you shouldn't be allowed to leave the house.
Now you just can't leave.
And if you cause me to miss my train, you're gonna get hit by the next one. You could say I'm an asshole, but I like to feed stray cats, so I'm basically like Jesus Christ. Move your ass, Grandma! Like all New York City children, I was brought up knowing that I was one of the lucky few, the chosen ones, who were placed in the pinnacle of civilization to shepherd humanity to its brightest future. It doesn't matter that I've literally never been anywhere else. I'm already here! Sure, there's garbage as far as the eye can see, and a psychosis-inducing public transit system, and apocalyptic levels of crime, and a population that's consistently ranked among the rudest in the country. But the only thing that's worse than living in New York City is living in the unimportant bumblefuck which is everywhere else.